An Illinois pervert has been charged with hacking hundreds of Snapchat accounts to steal nudes. 26-year-old Kyle Savara apparently ran a phishing scheme targeting nearly 600 women. Yeah, according to federal prosecutors, Savara used social engineering tactics, specifically impersonating Snapchat support via anonymous text now phone numbers. Yeah, he sent over 4,500 text messages requesting access codes. He then successfully obtained codes from 570 different victims, gaining unauthorized access to at least 59 accounts where he downloaded compromising nude and semi-nude images. Savara then sold or traded these photos online on platforms like Reddit and then coordinated via encrypted messaging apps like Kik and Telegram. One of his douchebag clients was Steve Waith, a former Northeastern University track coach who was sentenced to 5 years in prison last year for related sextortion crimes involving student athletes. Apparently, he hired Savara for $50 to hack the Snapchat accounts of women he knew. Additionally, Savara independently targeted other women at Colby College in Maine and his hometown of Plainfield, Illinois. Yeah, he's facing some serious charges here, including aggravated identity theft, wire fraud, computer fraud, conspiracy, and making false statements to authorities. This could potentially earn himself up to decades in prison if convicted. And I don't know about you folks, but for me, this plainly demonstrates how phishing isn't just a corporate problem. It can happen to anyone. Stolen images like this can lead to blackmail and some serious emotional distress. So if you're a Snapchat user, please enable two-factor authentication and never share codes with an unsolicited request. Now, since we're on the topic of social engineering, let's move on to our next story. There has been an uptick in a particular social engineering scam that hijacks the one thing that we all do naturally: panic. This story hits really close to home for me, as my aunt was scammed via this very tactic, so please listen up. So here's the setup. A fraudster calls pretending to be your bank and confirms some personal details they've gathered in advance. Then they claim that your account is under attack, and they block a few fake transactions and then pressure you right then and there to secure your money. And then here's where it gets interesting. The next notification that the mark gets is a legitimate request. It's a real approval prompt that your bank sends when someone is adding your card to Apple Pay or Google Pay. Yeah, when you tap approve, you haven't stopped the fraud. You've helped the criminal add your card to their digital wallet. And after that, the criminals can move fast, draining money through high-value purchases like electronics or designer goods that can be resold really quickly. So here's my advice to you folks. Never approve a payment or a wallet add notification during an unexpected call. You need to immediately hang up. Then call your bank back using the number on your card or your official app. Never ever call the number that the caller gives you, okay? Moving on to our last story. You know the advice people give to newbies at DEF CON? Turn off your Wi-Fi, turn off your Bluetooth. Well, here's why. Researchers have exposed a critical Bluetooth flaw in Will electronic wheelchairs, allowing hackers to remotely take control without any password or authentication. This issue affects the Model C2 and Model F power chairs, which are used in healthcare facilities all over the world. As long as the attacker is in range, this vulnerability lets an attacker pair the device effortlessly and issue commands to move it, override speed limits, and other crazy nasty stuff. In a rather dramatic demo, researchers used a keyboard and game controller to steer a wheelchair, driving it off a flight of stairs at a really high speed. They also programmed an exploit to automatically hijack any wheelchair within proximity. Now, Wheel has since deployed a ton of different mitigations. However, researchers haven't verified that the patch is effective. And it's also unclear if the updates are either manual or automatic. Luckily, though, no public exploits have been reported in the wild yet. So if you are concerned about your Bluetooth security, my advice to you is simple. Disable Bluetooth devices when they're not in use, avoid pairing in public areas, and always make sure your device's firmware are always up to date. That about wraps up today's stories. This is Andy Thompson signing off.